Hello everyone, welcome to BistroBuzz TV, where today we're going to be making a peach cobbler. This is a very simple recipe. This particular cobbler is going to be going out to a family for their Thanksgiving dessert, and I thought, what better way than to go ahead and video this in case there's someone else that's wanting to have a different recipe for a peach cobbler. So I've already started a little bit of this, so let's get started everyone. Okay, what we're going to do first is I have a tin pan here where I purchased at the grocery store, and I have a smaller one here that I'm going to make a little personal one for another individual. So what you do first is you purchase one of the tin pans. Now this is a different one that I purchased this time. This is more of a deep dish. You can see how deep it is. But you can also purchase the ones that are more rectangular, and they are not as deep as this one, so any of those are fine. So what you do is you start out and you place 1 cup of butter into the tin foil pan, and then you preheat your oven to 325. You place this pan into the oven and let all the butter melt. That is the first step. 1/2 cup of flour. That is all-purpose flour. And you also take 1.5 cup of sugar, and you mix these really well together. Just make sure you break all of the little pieces up to where it is all smooth. This makes a fabulous crust for the cobbler. So that's 1.5 cups of sugar, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Just mix it very well. Then you take just about a tablespoon of the pure vanilla extract, sprinkle some cinnamon sugar, about 2 tablespoons, and some ground cinnamon into the 1.5 cups of flour and 1.5 cups of sugar. Okay. Once you have your vanilla and your ground cinnamon and cinnamon sugar placed into the flour and sugar, just mix it up very well. Very good here. Okay, so the next thing is, and this is an important step, if you're making this for somebody that you know is lactose intolerant or anyone who has milk issues, it's very important that you don't add the 1 cup of milk. So what you can do is you can add a couple of tablespoons of Cool Whip with some water, which usually does not affect people, or you can use almond milk, or what I like to do is I just use a simple cup of water, and that way I know that if I'm making this for anyone that does have milk issues, then I know for sure it's not going to bother them. So to this batter, what you add next is 1 cup of water or 1 cup of milk, depending on if you know everyone can have milk or not. So let's go ahead and do that. Now when you're mixing your batter, go ahead and place the pans where you have the butter into the oven so that the butter will start to melt and get piping hot, because what happens is, what we're going to do is we want that butter to melt really good, and then we're going to take the batter and place it into the pan, but we're not going to really stir it up that much. We're just going to gently mix in the butter, but we need that butter completely melted before we add this batter. So while I am stirring the batter, I place the pans into the oven and let the butter melt really good. And then what we're going to do is make sure that butter is spread evenly across the bottom of the pan. And then we're going to pour this batter on top of it. And then we're going to mix the butter in very, very gently into the batter. And then that is going to be our batter for our peach cobbler. And it was going to be forming a very, very, very nice crust. So let's do this step. For the butter to melt and we've mixed our batter, I want to share with you real quick. This is a very, very quick cobbler that I'm putting together because someone's going to go to their Thanksgiving dinner and they're needing that this evening. So this is a quick request to make this. So I wanted to share with you, you can use canned peaches or you can use frozen peaches. If you use frozen peaches, it's a little bit more difficult because there's not as much juice. But for a very, very quick cobbler, what I did is we're using this can here. This is from Harris Teeter. This is the sliced peaches, no sugar added. And I also had a can of the Del Monte, the sliced peaches. And this is in heavy syrup. So what you'll need is 2 cans of peaches. And each of these cans, they are 15.25 ounces. So if you use bag peaches, you'll need at least like 2 bags of peaches. But like I said, if it's frozen, you have to add some sugar and some water to them and let them thaw a little bit so that you'll have the juices. So what is best to do that I have found is I use 2 cans of peaches, but what I do, and I learned this the hard way, I needed to shake the cans up before I actually put them into the dish. So while the butter is melting, I usually go ahead and shake the cans up so that the juices can distribute evenly in the cans. So I'm going to go ahead and do that step, and then we're going to take the pans out of the oven where the butter has melted, and we're going to add our butter. Okay, so we've taken the pans out of the oven. We've got the little one over here for the individual, and we've got the larger one here where the butter has melted. So what you want to do is shake your pan, and just evenly distribute the butter in the bottom. So go ahead and do that. And the next step, we're going to take our batter and we're going to place our batter into the 2 pans. Okay, now that we've put the batter on top of the butter, try not to stir it very much. What I did was I just swirled around the spoon just a little bit to make sure that the butter was evenly distributed. So now we've got the butter with the batter. Now what we do is we add our peaches. Okay, what you can see is we're adding the peaches, and what I do is I just take the peaches, I get them out of the can, and then I just place them onto the batter. But the key thing here is don't stir it. Don't stir at all. Just place them into the pan. So you can see that I'm taking them out of the can with a fork and placing them into the batter. And just evenly distribute them so that the peaches are all over the batter. So that way, everybody that gets a bite, there's always going to be a peach. And I've got the little individual one over here, so you can see I'm adding a few peaches to it as well. Not as many. We'll just do 3 here and we'll just evenly distribute them. And then there's one little section here that we can place on the end. So there's our little individual one. We've got one more peach half that we can place there, so you can see there how we've got this. And then what we do is take the juice, the syrup from the can, and just pour. You can see I'm just pouring it. I'm evenly distributing it over the cobbler. And I'll put a little bit into the little one. And there you have it. So now we're going to place these into the oven. 325, 45 minutes. Hi everyone. So here is the peach cobbler. We just took it out of the oven. So you can see how the crust, it just evenly bakes so well. The peaches are underneath. It's so good. And I'll give you a little quick one last step if you like to do this. Now what I do is I take the cinnamon sugar and just for a little bit of added extra on the top, I just sprinkle across it. Just a little bit, not a lot. Just a little bit for seasoning. And it is so yummy, yummy, yummy. So there it is, peach cobbler. Try it. Leave a comment if you do try it. It's so good, it's so easy, so quick and easy. So thanks everyone, and come back soon to visit BistroBuzz TV. Thank you. Enjoy.